Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
All right. Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. Sam Bushman live on your radio. Hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use, no doubt, starts now. This, my fellow Americans, is the broadcast for March 26th in the year of our Lord, 2025. This is hour one of two. The goal always to protect life, liberty, and property, to promote God, family, and country, to do so on your radio in the traditions of our founding fathers. Yes, indeed, we use the checks and balances brilliantly put in place by the founding fathers and the Constitution of the United States of America, the supreme law of the land, as our guide. We reject revolution unless it's a Jesus revolution, and then we're in because we follow the Prince of Peace. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm live from the road in Las Vegas. Wow, this place is nuts on parade. Anyway, I'll tell you what, they've got the incredible show. What do they call this thing? Man, I don't even know the name of the show. It's crazy. I'll have to get that figured out. I normally go to the National Association of Broadcasters convention. It's going to be in a week or so, and I normally go to that show, but I'm not going this year because they just have the same stuff over and over and over. It seems they always tell you there's incredible technological advances. So this time, it's called Shop Talk, and it's basically a computer show with all kinds of software, and it relates to marketing and social media and AI and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I'm at the Shop Talk show, folks, and it's crazy. It's just as big as the NAB, National Association of Broadcasters Convention, but it's a lot fancier of a show. There's food everywhere. I'm just telling you right now, they got a disco ball and dancing. It's crazy town, but it's very interesting. And there's a lot of unique, cool things and technology here. I also want to be attending the CES show, the Consumer Electronics Show. That's a huge show as well, happening January, right at the beginning. It's right after the new year. I mean, as soon as you get recovered from New Year's, you got to go to that show. So there's that show. There's the Shot show, and then there's the Shop Talk show. So anyway, I'm checking that out. It's a lot of fun and interesting. Hanging out at the Ahern Hotel, by the way, one of my favorite hotels. Good, honest people that stand up for things that matter most. So that's going on. And of course, today we've got George Balloutine, one of the big Mig brothers, with us, and Lance Migliaccio, the other big Mig brother. They're brothers from a different mother, and they are the tip of the spear on all things that matter. Crypto right on through to constitutional currency and a whole lot more. Lance, welcome back to Liberty Roundtable Live, sir.
Hey, good morning, Sam. Thanks for having me here. Always excited to be here with the Liberty Roundtable listeners. Snapping necks, cashing checks, doing what we do, brother.
George, welcome back, sir.
Good morning there, Sam Bushman, and all our radio listeners. How you doing? Everything, just another day. The news cycle never seems to disappoint us lately. A lot of good things. I ain't tired of winning. I hope everybody else is not tired of winning.
I wish you were correct on that, my friend. There's a lot of winning. I agree. There's a lot of losing, and there's a lot of in between as well. The battle for the hearts and minds of the American people continues. The battle between liberty and tyranny continues. And boy, howdy, do we have a role to play in that. Have you guys ever been to the Shop Talk show? Have you ever been to any of these shows in Las Vegas? I know you guys went to. Did you guys go to NAB too? What have you been to, George?
We were at the NATB. You were there with us, if you remember.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And then we were at the Sheriff's Convention, Constitutional Sheriff's show.
Yes, indeed. Meeting. The NAB actually is where we discovered the OBSpot. Is that how you say it? Cameras.
Yeah, the OBSpot cameras. Yeah.
And I went and got one of those bad boys. They're great.
Yeah, they are. They work really well.
Amazing camera. Big package, reasonable price.
Anybody wants to buy them, use there's a code TBM. You could use that. Get a discount.
For the Big Mig show, is that right?
Yeah.
TBM, OBSpot cameras. Anyway, it's a great camera. It follows me on a lot of my videos that I'm doing now at libertyroundtable.com. Do live long-form talk radio, and then do short-form videos. And it's starting to work out pretty well. And thanks to George and Lance, they're the ones that found that for me. So great find on that. The camera follows me. It's delightful. What do you think of the NAB? And have you been to any of these other shows, Lance?
Yeah, I went to NAB. I think it's great, overwhelming, really. I mean, there's so many halls full of equipment. I think it's a great opportunity if you're definitely setting up a studio or you want to add to your studio or you want to look at the newest in anything from AI to digital interface products. So it's a crazy deal. We didn't go this year because we just been too slammed, And they've got one actually in Las Vegas, and I think they have a smaller one in New York also.
Actually, I went to the one in New York, Lance. Remember?
It wasn't very good, right? It wasn't as big as the
It
one
was.
in Vegas,
It was
right?
small.
Oh, no, it's
it
tiny comparatively. It's tiny. Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's tough when you, even the one in Vegas. It's a lot of it's geared for big production studios, like almost like mainstream media. So I mean, you do find some software and stuff for us little guys, but you know, hopefully one day we get there.
When you say us little guys, though, I think we're big production. I think they're just smoke and mirrors, and we're actually real production. Lance?
You know, I don't disagree with you. I mean, George and I were talking about it last week. I mean, George and I produced, I think, 11 or 12 shows last week between radio and video. Because we've got the Crypto Power Hour, that new show that's on Rumble at Wednesdays and Fridays at 3 p.m.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and that's a great show. Great show. It's going to be great. Today we have Johnny Tobacco on. So if you're looking for crypto information, education about ETFs or anything else, tune in 3 p.m. on Rumble. And of course, we got the Global Finance Forum on Fridays at 1 p.m., which is a financial roundup for the week. You know, we cover crypto, Wall Street, BRICS, you name it, global, anything global that has to do with finance. We cover it on that show. So that's a great show. But I tell you what, it's amazing the amount of product.
By the way, we're going to be talking about getting more of those shows on radio too, Lance.
Super excited about that. I think it's going to be an amazing show. I think that the opportunity for syndication is going to be huge for the crypto show because I don't think there's product that's this quality. But what I was really trying to get at, Sam, is it's incredible the amount of work, for example, that you put in to your shows. When I look at the research you've done for the storylines and the rest, and I think some people underestimate the amount of time and effort it takes. And of course, these are self-funded projects. You need all those donations. You need all the Rumble rants you get over on, which are tips over on Rumble, and the subscription base, and then you need sponsors. And at the end of the day, I don't know if people really understand the complexity of preparing these shows.
You know, it reminds me of going to college. If you want to do average in college, you don't need to put much time in. If you're smart, you can do decent. But if you really want to do well in college and you want to be top of your class, that kind of stuff, look, it takes an hour or two out of class for every hour or two in class, right? I mean, that's just the bottom line. And it's no different on radio. You can be good. Somebody like me who's got the gift of gab, or somebody like you who's knowledgeable about a lot of things, Lance, or you, George, you can talk about anything just at a moment's notice. That's true. But it shines through with the details that you provide. So you can do generic talk all day long if you're good. But to be great takes those nuggets of details that only long-term research can bring to you. Let me give you an example. You brought up Rumble. And when you brought up, digital currencies or whatever. Well, did you know that Rumble bought a bunch of Bitcoin? And they're committed to invest a ton. Okay, so it's those details that matter, though, right? That's where a good to great starts to happen. When you dig in and you know those details and you can put those together. Hey, that stuff came out last week or so, but it's important to tie that in right now when we're talking about these shows. So Rumble's going to be very favorable to shows relating to crypto. Maybe YouTube, not so much, right? Or whatever. So it's that kind of detail of who your friends are, who aren't your friends, who's involved in what. But they literally they want to have 20 million in crypto right away. So they bought a bunch of coins.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you have to look at that company got a $775 investment from Tether at $7.50 a share, which propelled their stock, I think, to 13 or 14. I don't know where it's sitting right now. It might be 11, 12. But
yeah, but it's way up.
A lot of people don't realize that they have really doubled down, and one of their big initiatives is crypto as far as a vertical of content creators. Their big initiatives right now are gaming, crypto, and music. That's where they're really pushing for new shows. That's where they really want to see growth.
And
we try to
great
do all
news
those.
hosts. Yeah. And great news hosts. That's their 4 gigs.
And listen, it shows. Listen, if you look at the stats for the top podcasts or the top content shows right now, when it comes to alt media, their guys are always in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions. It's really, and no surprise, they've got Steve Crowder over there. Steve Crowder just kicked YouTube, kicked him out. Said he's not going to promote on there anymore. He's done. So they're done getting Steve Crowder's content, which I think hurts YouTube, but that's a YouTube. They've done a lot to alienate the community. Listen, they permanently suspended us simply because we put up CDC and VAERS information, and they decided to cancel us over there.
I think they ought to be sued over that, though. When you put up CDC and VAERS information, all you're putting up is government information, just repurposed for a point you want to make with your First Amendment, but the facts are still there. How do you take someone down over the facts, George? I mean, I don't get it.
I mean, I'm trying to figure this out too because, like, even our second time suspension on YouTube, they said they suspended us. They told me why, and I couldn't even look at the video to try to appeal it the correct way. And I mean, who are they to tell you that if these doctors are right or wrong? They're the doctors. Google, YouTube's not the doctors.
But it's also CDC and VARS, though. That's government. Okay, go ahead and skip the break. This is too good. This is government, put out information, right, George? This is just.
It is, but the problem is they're bowing down to the world order and going with WHO, because WHO has other recommendations, and that's what they're going by. Well, listen, we're not a part of WHO anymore. Trump got us out, so why do I have to believe, think, and act like look of anything that the WHO says? I didn't do it beforehand. I'm sure it's not going to do it now. But why they keep bowing down? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I feel like YouTube is really retaliatory. It's not a great environment for free speech. They've proven that over and over again. They'd rather have a bunch of kids on there. It's more important there to have shows like I Show Speed and other content creators over there just acting like a bunch of dumb college kids. That seems to be the genre of what they want to support. Mr. Beast is another one. I don't see any value in his real content with these contests where people are supposed to be frightened and they give away excessive amounts of money. He just happened to figure out the algorithms very early on, and he's been propelled to the top of the engines over there. So, and that's the other thing. Their front page, the way the algos work, it really is. I believe there's more going on behind the scenes, that it isn't a natural process to get on the front page over there. So I'm not a big fan. I'm definitely not a fan of YouTube.
It's a manipulated process. You're going to see over time. You're going to see YouTube start to sink. YouTube's going to start to sink. Rumble's going to start to crank up as the new media takes center stage. You're going to see it more and more and more. Look, they've got to run for their money on this. I'm a little bit disappointed in the administration. I like Caroline Leavitt quite a bit, but now that she's in office, or whatever you want to call it, she's very hard to get a hold of. The other problem with it is they promised, hey, whitehouse.gov/new media. Have you guys heard back? I sure haven't.
No. And I don't expect to. I'll be honest with you. I'm with I'm in the same headspace as you are, Sam. I'm not impressed by what's going on in some areas. There are some areas of the administration. I love Tom Homan, and I think Kash Patel is going hard to work, and I feel good about Dan Bongino. I know some stuff those guys are working on, but right now I'm not impressed. We never heard anything back. You think even a courtesy email? Hey, we received your application and we're reviewing it right now and we have some additional questions. Nothing. But what we're seeing again is the top of the food chain. And what's even more, so we're seeing the people that have the biggest accounts seem to have acquired the press licenses. And then the other level that I don't like is they continue to, support all the media sources that attack them. CNN's still there. MSNBC's still there. CBS is still there. So all these people that went out of their way to attack Donald Trump, to attack the administration, to attack MAGA, and lie to the American public over and over and over again. It's like they're being rewarded because they're the ones that continue to get the interviews. They're the ones that continue to get the time and get invited to the SEC roundtables and to all the other events. But meanwhile, all the alt media that supported them, unwavering for literally the last 9 years, they get nada.
And what's interesting to me about this is I don't even mind if people are critical of Trump, but let's be candid and honest about the critiques, not dishonest, lying, manipulative, hate-filled belligerents. And so you got Mika and Joe or whatever, and they're fine with the Donald, and you got all these people that continue to get these interviews. So I see a news headline or a clip from YouTube or wherever. It's like, oh man, Caroline Leavitt ripped apart so-and-so. And my response is it's fine to rip apart so-and-so. However, why even go on so-and-so's show? Why not dismiss them clowns or those clowns and spend your time with people who will be honest and fair? I'm going to bring up some hard questions about things, but I'm also going to be very fair to President Trump. I don't have an axe to grind. I love the good that he does. I'm concerned with the not so good that he does. And I'll give you an example. Some of the not so good that he does is taxes. Okay, why am I getting emails from Donald Trump about tax questions? Did you guys see this?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did. And, listen, that's the fundraising arm of the whatever, his PAC or the RNC.
Hold on.
No. They want you to do that, but they want you to get information and they want you to donate too. That's the whole ploy of that thing.
But it's either backed by Trump or it's not. Which is it?
No, it's most likely it's backed by Trump, 100%. But it's
right.
just
So
it's a money grubbing play. It's a fundraising thing.
But I'm not interested.
I don't agree with it, not at all. Enough's enough.
Well, here's my question. He's not going to run again. Why is he still fundraising?
Well, he is going to run again.
Yeah, I hear
Lance,
that.
Lance, I've been saying this before he even won the presidency. Remember when we had Cash Patel on the show, and I specifically said he should get a do-over for all the Russia stuff for that 4 years. So, and they're working on it. They're working on it behind the scenes. I've heard, we've heard people talk about it. So, he might run again.
I don't know.
See what happens.
But here's my problem with it.
Tough one to sell. That's going to be a tough one to sell.
So what tax questions? What tax questions could you possibly have for Sam Bushman? So here's the poll that I guess Trump is behind. You're saying I don't know that he even knows about it. I bet $1,000 if you brought it up to Donald, he doesn't even know that these questions are being asked. And the reason that I say that is if they have this great list of Sam Bushman, I put myself on a list saying I'm the new media taking center stage. I've been part of the new media. I want to be part of the press corps. So they've got a list of all of us because we voluntarily added ourselves to that list. So why are they sending me a thing saying, Sam, I got a tax question for you? Here's the tax question. Should we spend our time getting rid of taxes on tips, taxes on Social Security, taxes? Meanwhile, they're cranking up tariffs. My response is you're double dipping now with tariffs and taxes, which really is the same thing. It's just a different tax, right? But and I'm saying to you, you already know my name. You already know I'm a newsman. You already know that I'm, okay, don't ask me these kind of questions. I have been telling you from the start, probably since before you were even in politics, all of you put together, and I've been telling you that you need to abolish the IRS. It's a criminal enterprise. It's judge, jury, and executioner. It violates the Constitution. And so you need to abolish the IRS. Now, if you're going to give tax credits or special privileges or whatever you want to say, no taxes on Social Security, well, I'm not there yet. Neither are you two. Okay, what about tips? I don't need tips. I don't get tips. I get donations, but they're still going to be taxed. So if I do a great job on the radio and you tip me, donate to me, then donations don't count. So I don't give a rip if you do Social Security or, tips or whatever. None of those things matter to me.
That's kind of selfish,
right?
though. But what about all the other people that get tips?
No. What about getting rid of taxes for all of us, George?
Listen, I'm all for it. But I'm going to say something about that email. That email, they don't know Sam Bushman or Lance Migliaccio or George Manley. All they know is it's an email. It's on their email list, and they send it out. It's just like any other email list.
Hold on. It's the same email that sent in and said, yes, I'd love to be part of your press corps.
Right, but there's those are two different entities. One is,
how do you know?
Because that's, what do you mean, how do I know?
How do you know? How do you know? How do you know that Doge? How do you know that Doge can't correlate those lists in less time than you can blink, George?
They probably could.
Okay, so done. Next. Why are you bugging me with that? Why don't you come back with something concrete and valuable? And so then at the end of that divisive discussion, who do you want to vote for? Do you want to vote for the elderly and give the tax cuts on the Social Security, or do you want to give it on the tips people? Which group of people do you want to separate and pull the lever in favor of them?
I think the
elderly
goes. I think the elderly should come first.
Okay, what do you think, Lance?
Well, this is a much more complicated question. So first of all, let me state this. I agree with you, Sam.
I think you just need to give me some money. Send me some money. Click on this and help me with money.
Well, the bottom
line
broke.
I'm Donald. I'm broke.
I think taxes are a criminal enterprise. They were supposed to be temporary. They were never supposed to be permanent. I think that we shouldn't have had any income tax whatsoever. Right, income tax. And I think you start looking at the tax system, whether it's inheritance tax, sales tax, property tax, capital gains tax, and then we see the use of the proceeds. We see things like USAID. We see Chelsea Clinton getting $84 million. We see Bill Kristol got $8 million to post on social media. We see Politico getting money and AP getting money and Reuters getting money. And, of course, Sam Bushman, Liberty Roundtable Live doesn't get any of that money. The Big Mig Show didn't get any money from USAID. And then they asked me, well, what do you think about these taxes? Well, I agree with you. They're a criminal enterprise. When you ask me, first of all, I don't even understand the tax on Social Security. You paid in your whole life, and now this is supposed to be a retirement program, and now they want to tax you again on Social Security.
It's a double dip rape.
My problem is the tax system itself, the code is so complicated that not even the experts understand it. If you take it
That's
and,
right.
and you started asking IRS agents and start reading off the code, the majority of them at the lower levels can't even answer questions. So to me, right away, I think the tax system ought to just be booted out the door. If they want to come up with a flat tax, and they can justify it. But I agree with you. The tariffs are supposed to, because originally, let me say this to the audience: ports, duties, and tariffs are what are supposed to run the country, and always have been. That's what's been going on for a very long
sometimes
time.
we even agree that apportionment taxes from the states would make some sense, right?
Yeah, and the debt that we've accumulated through the Federal Reserve, which is another criminal enterprise, it's not there's nothing federal or reserve about it, that we're paying to have some independent group, a family-owned business, print our money for us and then charge us, print a bill for a couple of cents, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cents. I've heard all kinds of numbers from 8 cents down. They take a $100 bill and then they loan it to us like they really gave us $100, and then they charge us interest on it. That's ridiculous.
Do you call that fake news, Lance?
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. We should nationalize the Federal Reserve immediately, and we should arrest all those families, all the families that own it, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Warburg Pincuses, and we should seize all their assets because it's a criminal enterprise they set up. That's why they got thrown out of Russia. That's why they're not welcome in so many different countries, and people know it. The Federal Reserve is becoming more and more exposed, but we continue to deal with it, and that's what the tax is. That the IRS is the collection arm for the interest for the Federal Reserve Bank, if you really want to get down to the bottom line of it. So this is a corrupt situation here. And then when you ask me, do I want to pay tax so that you can use it through USAID, or the DOD can say not pass their last 7 or 8 audits, and they lose access to $2.4 trillion. Listen, not only that, how about the U.S. government borrowing 2.4, or I've heard numbers between 2.2 and 2.4 trillion dollars from Social Security. They basically stole it. The people on Social Security should getting nearly double. So before I can even give you another dollar in tax, I'll tell you what, we can talk about taxes, but let's talk about you paying back Social Security first. Let's talk about you nationalizing the Federal Reserve first. If you get that done, then maybe we can have a discussion about taxes after that. How's that?
Okay, so those are necessary questions, and my point is it's a clown question, though. Emailing Sam Bushman, they know I'm a journalist. If they don't know, or a news guy, if they don't know that, then they got to get their crap together, okay? That's the first thing that you need to understand.
Yeah, they don't
The second thing, you're probably right, they don't know, but that means the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, and that's part of the big problem. But I'm saying to you, don't ask me if I want to vote for my mother or my grandmother, or say the girl next door that's a single mother trying to raise her kids and needs tips. Both of those people are taking a beating, and so am I. Okay, you've added tariffs, but you haven't taken away anything from anybody yet. I think you need to abolish the IRS before you even think about adding tariffs. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a tariffs guy, but not in the improper order. So is that under Donald Trump's name or not? If it is, the president's slapping me in the face right now, literally breaking my nose with a punch straight to the face with this kind of an email. Then begging me for money on top of it all? Sam, pay your taxes, pay your tariffs, and send me money because Elon and Donald are broke. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, now
I
that's not
get
bad
all
enough.
these emails, and I'm not a fan of all those constant emails. It's just, for me, it's a little too much. But I understand it's their process. You guys are both convinced he's going to run again. My first comment when I receive these now is, "What are you doing? How are you going to run again?" I mean, he's going to need a an active Congress. And right now, if they don't win that Wisconsin judgeship on the Republican side, that activist judge has already said that she's going to redistrict, and we're going to lose 2 seats, and that means we lose the House. So I don't know.
Donald sent me another email, and this one actually says it straight from Trump, not Trump team or Trump committee or this and that. This one basically says Donald Trump on it. The first question is it really from the Donald? And I think it's a lie, and I'm going to give you the tidbit to think about before the break, and then we'll talk about it. Headline: President Trump, dinner at Mar-a-Lago. You're invited. We'll talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sam Bushman, and I submit to you this is fake news fraud coming into my email, ladies and gentlemen. It's lies. If Trump doesn't know about it, it's fraud because they invited me somewhere they're not really inviting me to at all. Although I got free dinner at the show I'm at.
Proclaiming liberty across the land. You're listening to Liberty News Radio.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump is downplaying the sharing of Yemen attack plans to a group chat that included a journalist.
Democrats and Republicans alike criticized the incident as a serious national security breach, but the president called it the only glitch in 2 months of his administration. He claimed on NBC News that it didn't turn out to be a serious matter, and he expressed confidence in his national security advisor. Earlier this month, the editor-in-chief for The Atlantic received details of a U.S. military attack in a secure messaging app 2 hours before the airstrikes began. Greg Clugston, Washington.
DOJ about to take a look at public broadcasting.
PBS and NPR officials are set to appear before the House DOJ subcommittee today as they prepare for questions about federal support for public broadcasting. The pair, along with their respective local stations, are funded through an over $500 million appropriation provided by Congress through the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Both PBS and NPR have been slammed for their far-left programming while being funded by American taxpayers. Tasha Stevens reporting.
The Trump administration will be allowed to suspend approval of new refugees as a lawsuit plays out.
Under the order, refugees who were conditionally approved before President Trump took office must still be processed. Melissa Keeney, an attorney with the International Refugee Assistance Project, says tens of thousands of refugees will still have the opportunity to restart their lives in the United States. Trump's executive order said the program would be suspended because communities taxed by record levels of immigration can't absorb large numbers of migrants. The court sided with President Trump and the Department of Justice and narrowed a decision by a judge in Seattle. The panel pointed to a 2018 Supreme Court decision that upheld the president's travel ban during his first term that targeted mostly Muslim countries. Jennifer King, Washington.
More of these stories at townhall.com.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process. And that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
In the medical field, IT security is crucial. Our highly skilled consultants are HIPAA certified and have 20-plus years of experience servicing medical clinics, billing, and supply companies. We offer comprehensive endpoint protection, guarding your computers and servers against all stages of threats. And with our 24/7 monitoring services, you'll never worry about extensive downtime again. Ready to level up your IT support? Call 801-706-6980 today and discover how great IT services can be with managed IT services.
Experience the untamed spirit of the American West with Range Magazine. Each issue is a visual journey featuring award-winning photography and compelling stories that capture the heart of ranching and rural life. Stay informed on the challenges and triumphs of those who live and work on the land. Subscribe today and receive quarterly editions delivered to your doorstep, and join a community that cherishes the enduring legacy of the Western frontier. Visit rangemagazine.com to subscribe.
I have a question. Can a nation conceived in liberty carry its head high if it denies protection to the youngest and most vulnerable of its citizens? Can a country founded on God-given rights continue to thrive without understanding that life is a precious gift from our Creator? I believe that great nations and great civilizations spring from a people who have a moral compass. I don't think a civilization can long endure that does not have respect for all human life, born and not yet born. I will be in earnest. I will not equivocate, and I will not excuse. I will not retreat an inch, and I will be heard. One thing I promise you, I will always take a stand for life.
Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
All right, back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Yours truly, along with Lance Migliaccio and George Balloutine, the Big Mig brothers. Check them out on Rumble and just about everywhere in the world. On Liberty News Radio, on social everywhere, the Big Mig. Check it out, thebigmig.com. All right, so I'm talking about these emails that I got from supposedly Donald Trump, Team Trump, whoever, and I don't believe they're real Donald Trump emails, but they're flat-out fake news, dishonest, fraudulent emails, and I've got a problem with them even being sent to me. First off, you should know that I'm a nationally syndicated talk show host. I've been in the business for literally 30 years, ladies and gentlemen, with incredible credibility and a whole lot more, okay? And so they're going to send these clown things to me. And this one says, Sam, you're invited to Mar-a-Lago. Haven't you always wanted to go to dinner with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago? I want you there so bad, Sam, I'm willing to pay for the whole thing. And then it says, donate here for your chance to win. And this is sent from, it says Donald Trump. Now, I don't really know who sent it, but I believe it's fraudulent. Now, I don't know what, either it's backed by Donald or Donald needs to have somebody, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, don't know who. Somebody needs to go after these criminals pretending they're in Donald's or using Donald's name. Now, look, the classic Ponzi scheme is this. Lance, I want you to do something for me. It's going to be incredible for you. You're going to get a trip to the Bahamas, whatever the baloney is, right? And the first thing you have to do is spend a little bit of money to be in the runnings, kind of a thing. I mean, that's the biggest fraudulent Ponzi scheme idea we've ever seen. The biggest thing you tell people in finance is, hey, if they ever want you to pay a penny when they're supposed to give you a bunch of money, I'm going to give you $1 billion, but all you got to do is put $100,000 down over here. Okay, it's always a fraudulent scam. Why do they need money from me if they're going to give me something massive? If you're going to give me a big old trip to Mar-a-Lago at $1,000 a night to stay and big money and flights, and I mean, hey, it's a $10,000 proposition probably to get me and my plus one to go or whatever. It's $10,000 at the least or whatever to get me to. Okay, but what they need me to do is put in my $100 first. Dude, it's a Ponzi scheme right under Donald Trump's name. Okay, now either Donald's in on it and he's peddling fake news, or he doesn't have a clue. And if he doesn't have a clue, then the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, to the point where, man, I can't deal with it. What do you think of this email, Lance? It's fraudulent.
You know, number one, I don't think he knows about it. I think this is all part of his
I agree.
teams doing stuff. So that's number one. Number two, I don't like, emails like that, whether it's Donald Trump or anyone else. I don't like anybody soliciting me to enter to win this incredible opportunity. I've never liked them. So that's a personal peeve. Maybe some people like it. Now to some people, maybe they feel like this is the opportunity of a lifetime. But I agree with you. What's interesting about the onslaught of emails that we get, they don't seem to be filtered. You would think that all that email that I get from Donald Trump comes into lm@thebigmig.com, which is obviously for our show. You would think that there would be a list that's been created, some kind of dissemination and differentiation of those emails. That some emails would be in a certain group and other emails would be in another group. But that's not what they do. They just send them out in bulk. And, I find that often happens nowadays.
Did you sign up? Hold on. Did you sign up for it?
No.
Okay, so now they're violating the Canned Spam Act on top of it all, right?
Yeah.
No, government
you can
gets
opt
a special
out,
privilege.
of course. They've got the unsubscribe at
Hold
the
on.
bottom. But...
Government gets a special privilege. It doesn't apply to them, Lance. Only to you and me.
I got to tell you guys, I don't get those emails.
Yeah. Well, you must be too important. They must know you're the real rock star, is all.
Maybe. I just don't get them.
Yeah. Or maybe you're not even important enough to be in the sweepstakes, buddy.
Maybe, but...
I don't know which. It's crazy, right?
Look, this is why I really don't donate, because whenever you donate to a candidate, it goes into that, what is it, win-red system, and then all of a sudden you start getting all these emails from everybody, and I just eliminated myself out of the system. That's why I won't donate, just for that reason, because I don't like, because you get a ton of emails. Even if you donate to Trump one time, and all of a sudden that same day you'll get another at least 5-6 fundraising emails. And I was like,
"This is awful." Which is awful because
crazy.
You'd like to
do you
be able
think
to donate,
do you think that's respectful to you if that happens, George?
No. It's just.
Do you think but hold on. Do you think Donald's doing it?
No. Whoever the people running that stuff is doing.
I got another question. If someone falsely uses the president of the United States' name, what would happen to most of us if you did that? If you just walked around and faked like you were the Donald and raised a bunch of cash, how quick would it last?
It wouldn't, but I don't think they're using his name. He has whatever companies or people he's paying to do that. He doesn't know every detail about it. So, I mean, should
but it's
he?
in his name and it's raising money.
Yeah, well, you listen. You trust your producer to produce the show the right way. You trust whoever's driving you to drive you to the right place. You trust whoever's helping you walk to the right place.
That's right.
So
what happens now then? If somebody comes to me and says, Sam, they're deceiving you, or Sam, they're not doing what they promised in your name. So let me give you an example. I've got a personal example of this. There's a guy by the name of David A. Clark Jr. He's a sheriff. He's a friend of mine, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He was the sheriff for a long time. He is a great Trump supporter. He's a black sheriff. Just a great guy. Just an excellent person. All right, now, David A. Clark Jr., I got an email exactly like this from David A. Clark Jr., man, donate to me because we're doing this. Then the next email came a little later and it said, hey, there's this person that's in complete trouble. Please donate because David Clark Jr. is raising money to help out this poor sucker that's on the whatever. So I called up my buddy David and I said, hey, Sheriff Clark, it's Sam. And I got this issue. I got these two emails and he goes, man, that's the most fraudulent thing on the planet. Ignore them. I'm trying to sue them to stop it right now. And so my response to this is fake news fraudulent. So why are we sending a contingent to Greenland rather than stopping this email criminal activity, raising money? So you've raised tariffs on me. You got taxes on me. You're lying about Mar-a-Lago to me. And now you want me to donate in every single email? So now I got tariffs, taxes, donations, and fraud. And we're not even going to talk about that, Sam. We're too busy and we trust everybody, don't you know? I don't even understand it. Meanwhile, we're going to go to Greenland and take over Greenland. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and go on the Monica Lewinsky, or not Monica Lewinsky, the Mika, whatever, and the Joe show, and go on all these different bogus shows. We're going to have all of our people appear on those shows, and we're going to spend time with Mike Johnson, and we're going to meet with him and work on this and that. And it's just like everything they're being done is a waste, and I'm convinced they're being swamped by the deep state. The courts are undermining Donald. Congress is undermining Donald. Mike Johnson is a criminal, and he's slow walking everything to where Donald doesn't get any progress. Elon Musk. I mean, this is just disaster. And I bet you can't name five things that Congress has done that make sense, really, since they started 3 months ago. And they've literally been working for the people, supposedly, for 3 months. I don't know if you call it 22 working days a month or whatever. Either way, it's like 60 days. And I can't even name 5 things they've accomplished that matters a dang to me at all. Lance, do you want to go first? Is there anything you could really point to?
Yeah, they've talked, and they've talked, and they've talked, and they've done some press, and they've talked, and they've done some press. Yeah,
and they sat behind Donald while Donald talks and put thumbs up. Yeah.
We've been talking about this for such a long time, George and I, on our regular show. It's just, you've got the one side that's taking active action to destroy the country from within, which is the Democrats. And then you take the Republicans on the other side that stomp their feet and clench their fists and hold another committee and hold another hearing and subpoena some people, and nothing ever happens. It's inaction on one side that's destroying our country, and it's action on the other. And the truth of the matter is the Republicans now supposedly control the Senate and the House, although I can't imagine they would ever all work together. They're nothing like the Democrats when it comes to them all voting in one direction.
Well, as of lately, not too much, Lance, because look what happened with the spending bill. Schumer went against the Democratic Party, and look at all the hit back he's getting. They wanted him to step down as a minority leader. So now they're in disarray, which is good.
Opportunity, though, George. I mean, this is the first time they've controlled the House and the Senate in I don't know how many years. It's a golden opportunity to really pass some substantive, important law and maybe make some real important modifications. But instead, they're posturing. I mean, it's just like these activist judges. Listen, I'm at this point where when they talk about a constitutional crisis, in a way, I agree with pieces of that. Not because it's the administration, but I agree with it because when you look at what these activist judges are doing, and I've been saying it over, I'm a broken record. Absolute immunity and qualified immunity need to be canceled immediately, and lifetime appointments need to be canceled immediately. And there needs to be an independent, completely independent organization that isn't government controlled, that does oversight on these judges. I'm not saying there aren't some good judges. There are some good judges. But I am telling you that these judges are way out of line with politics. I can't even figure out, Sam, here's one for you. Explain to me how our law applies at all to an illegal immigrant. An illegal immigrant. Explain to me how any U.S. statute...
The only law that applies to an illegal immigrant is they need to leave the country, and we have ways to deport them.
So why is an activist judge in any way ruling that anything this administration, state or federal, is doing?
I'm going to tell you why.
This person is not. The laws of the United States apply to citizens of the United States.
I understand.
Why don't they just tell the activist judges it doesn't apply to these guys? Sorry.
Let me make this point to you, and this is the criminal creed. You ready? What the hell are you going to do about it, Lance?
Exactly.
And until you do something about it to stop that, it will continue. Yeah. And so the Republican thug criminals are saying, what are you going to do about it? We'll slow walk Donald. We'll bury all of Donald's initiatives. We'll shut down Elon. We'll, cluster blank in the courts. Will this, will that, will. And hey, what are you going to do about it, George? What are you going to do about it, Lance? And until you, the people, do something about it, we're going to continue our criminal activity. And if you get in the way, we're going to crush you along the way. That's Lance, how they do things, right?
All right. Let's bring up a point that Lance made, and I've been looking into this, reading this. So you say illegal immigrants are not, the laws don't apply to them, but yet if they murder someone, the laws apply to them. So according to the Constitution and federal laws, protect fundamental rights regardless of immigration status. That's what it's saying. I looked into it. Do I agree with it?
The Constitution doesn't say that.
I want you to show me where.
I'm not saying
I'm not saying
the judges aren't saying that, but show me in the Constitution where it says an illegal immigrant is covered by the laws of the United States.
And has the same rights that we citizens
have. It talks
have.
about the people of the United States. It talks about citizens of the United States. It doesn't talk about illegal immigrants in the United States. And yes, if you come in and violate our laws and you commit a crime, you should pay the consequences if you're here, whether you're here legally or illegally. That applies in any manner. If I go into Russia and I commit a murder and I'm not a citizen, they're going to charge me for murder. But at the end of the day, the laws are here to protect the people of the United States. That's why you would charge that individual with murder.
And illegals don't have those protections.
Enter the country illegally. They're not here to protect
and they don't have
people
those.
That said, I'm coming to the country and I'm going to invade you. These are invaders, plain and simple.
And they don't have those protections.
30 years. But I don't care if they've been here for 30 years, Sam, or I don't care if they've been here for a minute. It's the same situation. So
they don't have those protections.
Judges, and since when should an activist judge, when you think about these judges and the rulings they're making, that they want to keep a bunch of serious criminals, we're talking about some of these people are rapists and murderers that were thrown out of their other countries and said, go to the U.S., don't come back. I mean, they dumped out their jails, they emptied their prisons and sent them here. And then they were supported by the UN and NGOs to come through the Darien Gap in a criminal enterprise to destroy the country from within because they wanted a 35 million deep ghost voter pool. They wanted a pool of voters that they could say voted when we don't even know who the hell they are.
And speaking of that, we're not. They brought 20 million in under the Joe administration, and we're not even though we're deporting. And I appreciate Tom Holman. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a slap against anybody, but we're not even deporting very fast.
No.
How many people have been deported since Congress took office and Trump took office? The last
maybe
3 months.
400, maybe 400, maybe.
I think there's several thousand. Okay, but you've got to do probably 5 million a year to even get close. Because if you don't, all those people will change the census in 2030 as well, and certain blue states will get all kinds of congressional rep positions that they don't deserve on reality.
Listen, why doesn't the Trump admin just put them on planes and fly them out like Biden just flew in illegals into the country without everybody's knowledge?
Because the judges will get in the way and swamp Donald. That's why. And Congress won't stand up for Trump, and so therefore they'll slow walk the solutions and fast track the abuse of the Donald and the rest of us. And what are you going to do about it? That's
simple.
The criminal's creed.
Charge
what are you going to do?
Judges with malfeasance, nonfeasance, and misfeasance of a government official. Hit him for treason, seditious conspiracy, a concurrent criminal enterprise, racketeering, and RICO for continuing the criminal enterprise that was perpetuated by the Biden administration for supporting and reinforcing and assisting illegal immigrants in the invasion of the United States. So you're helping foreign invaders. Charge them, rip them out of their houses at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, and let's get some consequences here. Because let me say something.
But you know what, Lance? Not even Kash Patel. Not even Kash Patel is talking about that, though.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they used fear, just like they did with J6 and everything. They used fear against the American people, and I believe that both sides of the aisle suffered, in my own opinion, the way they treated people
I agree.
during this entire Biden administration. It is time to run some fear. It's time to run with an iron fist. It is time to drop the hammer. The dirty 51+8, why are they still on the street? Hillary Clinton bleach bit in a hammer and she destroyed evidence. Why is she still on the street? Barack Obama, 4,000 pounds of man pads that disappeared and all the other things he organized. They just found out he misdirected funds and everything else. Why is he still on the street? Until they start having these people, and I don't care whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, if somebody committed a crime, insider trading or otherwise, go after him. Mitt Romney's guilty. If Mitch McConnell's guilty, just like Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, Maxine Waters, go after the Feinstein estate. Start clawing back the money from these illegal insider trading operations.
Let's take it a step further. Hold on. Let's take it a step further now. Let's go to a few things. So Doge overhauled Social Security. Over 7 million immortal number holders aged 120 plus are finally off the list. So those people were getting Social Security benefits. Why aren't they going after them? That's number one. What about all the people that were getting USAID money?
Because they're dead. Hold on. They're dead. The people over 120 are dead.
No. Somebody was depositing that check. What do you mean?
Do we know who? The people that actually took the money.
I understand. But listen, hold on.
All you got to do is follow the money trail. Follow what bank account.
You can't even correlate. Hold on. You can't even correlate which names are in the media versus which names are being asked to donate to go to Mar-a-Lago on a sweepstakes. You'll never find out who put that money where.
You can find out. Don't say you can't. Of course you can. That's 100% you can find out. All you got to do is see what bank account.
Then how come they can't find? Hold on. How come they can't find out that I'm a media guy then? Why are they sending me these donation emails? You can go to Mar-a-Lago if you donate.
Okay,
we really want you there. You're invited, Sam.
Sam, stop taking it personal. I told you this is how all these companies work. They have an email. They put you on a list and they send it out. That's how this is how these companies make money.
Yeah, but
they
gather up emails. Spam Act. Hold on.
Do you know
the law prevents that, George?
Do you know every time you give your business card to any politician, automatically you're going to be getting fundraising emails from them, and then some of their friends too? Happens all the time.
There's a Canned Spam Act. Hold on. There's a Canned Spam Act. You can't do that.
Well, they
it's
do
illegal. Got that right. And so they're also not going to prosecute the people that got the money from those checks because I don't even know if Doge has been allowed to tie those records together. Right?
Well, they can tie them together. If they wanted to, the government can look into it. Same thing with the USAID
and
money.
If Donald wanted to, he could stop sending me these bogus, criminal, fraudulent, spam/fake news emails. They could stop that too. But they won't on both counts. Why? Because the criminals are in charge and their creed is, what are you going to do about it, George? What are you going to do about it, Lance?
Well, you know what, Sam? So why don't, if you keep getting
it's March Madness, right?
Why don't you put a complaint in? Put a complaint in.
Where?
Put a file. I don't know.
Where?
You just said there's the what act? The Spam Act?
The Canned Spam Act, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. File a suit.
I don't have the
Get
money
a lawyer,
to
file a suit under the camp, and put whoever sent you the emails, put them on there.
Well, my margins just tanked because they just added tariffs. I don't have the money anymore. Can't do that.
Oh.
See, do you see what I'm saying, folks? Until we start to get mad as people, and I'm not saying we need to be vigilante about this. We need to follow due process. And I'm not saying that illegals don't have any, they have some rights. I agree with Lance or George constitutionally. They have some rights, due process. First off, you got to find out if they're illegal or not. Secondly, you got to then, hey, we got to deport them, and we should be kind. We shouldn't be evil, but we should deport them. But none of these things are happening. What solid, concrete change has been made since Trump and Congress has taken office? What solid change has been made? And you might come back and say, well, the Lincoln-Riley Act, Sam. And I'll say, okay, you found one. Good. 4 more to go to even get your 5. But I don't see any significant changes. I appreciate Donald taking the lead on a lot of this. And this is not an attack on Trump. This is, I believe Trump is being undermined by the deep state, and he's going to get swamped if he doesn't get action fast. Okay, Donald Trump has signed some executive orders. He says, hey, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do that. Now, that cannot carry weight. Just say abolish the education department. Donald put forth an executive order, which is a great first move. Congress needs to codify it. But unless Congress does, it's going to go by the wayside. You're not going to get rid of the education department. So I believe they're just swamping the Donald. They're slow walking everything that he does.
Only
and
Congress
Mike
can
Johnson,
get rid of the education department.
I agree. So why isn't Congress backing Trump's lead right now? Answer, criminals. And they're saying, what are you going to do about it? You're going to elect us in 27, right? Or 26 or whatever the crap it is, right? When's the next election cycle?
Next year. I want to go back to the Spam Act because I just looked it up.
Right?
Look, I got the CAN Spam Act is a law that sets rules for commercial email.
Yeah.
Right, and establishes requirements for commercial messages. Hold on. Let me finish.
Yeah.
So they can send out the emails.
No.
All right, but
they can't.
I'm reading the thing right now. They have to give you the option to opt out of it.
No, but
they can't use deceptive subject lines.
Like I'm invited to Mar-a-Lago?
They have to. Well, you are invited, right? They didn't.
No.
They are giving you an invite.
No.
What do you mean no?
I'm only invited if I send in money and they put me on a lottery list, a Russian roulette list.
All right, but that's an invite. That's. I mean, it's not really. Okay. I don't think it's deceptive.
Second question. Second question is, if you read the Spam Act, though, I never signed up for this, though. I have the right to opt out, but they have to opt in first, according to the Spam Act.
No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say you have to opt in. I'm looking at it.
You got to read the whole document there, George. You got to opt in. That's why all these different email, when you sign up for a list, they opt you in multiple times and they have their address on there. They have this, that. They're candid who the group is. All those things are being violated in the emails. You dig in and you'll find out. So is this a private group? Who's sending me this email anyway?
Whatever groups there are.
Well, you guys just said it was Donald. It says Donald on there. Okay, who is the group? You can't even know. Right? And so
actually, I don't have the email, so I don't know. I got to look at it.
I forwarded it to you.
But yeah, anyway, when I seen the fundraising, I deleted it. So.
Okay, so all I'm telling you though is we gotta understand this though, and this email is a teeny thing. I'll agree with George; it's a teeny thing, and it is the way they operate. He's right about all that. Okay, but my problem is if they're going to harass the crap out of me for more money after throwing tariffs on top of taxes, and then they're going to say, Sam, who do you want to give a break to? The people that need tips or the elderly that need Social Security? And I qualify for neither.
Sam, did I opt in for you to forward me these fundraising emails? Just asking.
No, I'm violating the Spam Act.
You're oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's right.
You're in trouble now,
right.
Sam.
See, I did. I violated the Canned Spam Act. But here's the difference, though. I'm allowed to forward any email that I want to. I didn't sign you up for a list. So if you really study the Canned Spam Act, I didn't violate it, and you're actually clueless in your assertions, but it's okay. We'll forgive you for that. The fact is I'm allowed to forward any email I want to one time to anybody. The key is these lists that you have to sign up for. And if you read the Canned Spam Act, people have to opt in. In fact, they usually say it's a double opt-in. That's why when you sign up for it, they still email you and say, confirm this. And that's why it usually has an address or a way to contact people or a way to get off. There's a bunch of details that have to be complied with. And you've got to be candid and on a subject line. When you say you're inviting me to Mar-a-Lago, but yet I've got to basically spend money to be added to the list, you're inviting me to something, that invite's not genuine unless I take action. It's not a real invite. Okay? Because what if they said, hey, you got to cut off your left finger and you can go to this? Is that a real invite? Okay. I mean, we can play games, but I'm telling you, and if it was a private sector company, they could be sued and stopped. But when it's government, here's the phrase of the criminals. What are you going to do about it? And the answer is we can do nothing about it. But I'll tell you one good news piece. You were told your whole life that money grew on trees? Turns out to be a flat-out lie, ladies and gentlemen. Next hour, Lance is going to break that down just for you. Money does not grow on trees anymore, and that's the truth. So you better start telling your kids the truth. It's like the Santa Claus deal, right? You got to level with them. Once and for all, tell the truth. Money does not grow on trees. That's true in a real constitutional sense, and it's true in the latest fraudulent Elon Musk discovery. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more coming up. You're listening to the one and only Liberty Roundtable Live with the Big Mig Brothers and yours truly, thebigmig.com, lovingliberty.net. Spread the word, share the love, and God save the Republic.